Hello everybody, this your boy Qbaby. Welcome to Qbaby's Let's Be Honest. Today's subject that we're going to be talking about today is submission. I wanted to do a little one-on-one before I start bringing in guests for this same conversation. So, you know what I'm saying, a lot of people, you know what I'm saying, messaged me and they told me they wanted me to do a video on this topic for submission. So, when it comes to relationships, both parties submit. They submit in different ways. You know what I'm saying? A lot of women don't like hearing the word submission because, you know what I'm saying, they think that, oh, I'm not a slave. This ain't the 1950s or 60s or whatever. But I'm sorry to tell you, respect when it comes to submission is like pretty much the basics of anything. Like every man and every woman submit to their husband and to their wife in some shape or form. So I would definitely get people to get that crazy mindset. Just because if your man say that you shouldn't dress like, you know what I'm saying, like a thought, you know what I'm saying, for instance, that's a form of submission of you changing, you know what I'm saying, to not put yourself out there like something like that. You know what I mean? Like it's just a respect thing more like. And like submission can have its highs and its low. Like for men, we have a low level of violence between each other. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why we try to keep things calm, cool, and collected when we're conversating with one another. Because if we don't, it can cause things to escalate to a fight or to somebody getting shot. Like that's just how that game goes. Like that's the reason why men, we have a low level of violence. But for women it's different because they don't have no repercussions for the things they say, and that's the reason why women are so aggressive at that point, because a man is taught, you know what I'm saying, not to harm a woman, but to take care of a woman, to love a woman, to do all these things. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying that all dudes fall into this category, so please don't take the thought process of me saying like, oh, all men are not trying to treat women good. A lot of guys are woman beaters and all that stuff. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, the first time a dude beat you up for no freaking reason, because I ain't gonna lie, some girls out there, they're really asking for these hands. I'm just being honest with y'all. Like, there's plenty of women out there, I can whoop men, and they think they can just get out there and throw them hands until they start getting that ass whooped. So that's the reason why I tell people all the time, man, stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Stop doing that. Stop going out there trying to put your paws on dudes, because you fuck with the right one, he gonna put them paws on you. I ain't gonna lie to you. You can talk about you can whoop a man all day long, but you've been whooping boys, not men, because men don't play that shit. We don't play around like that. We don't even play in that airspace. You know what I'm saying? So back to the subject though. When it comes to submission though, both parties must submit to each other. And submission is a form of respect and trust to your partner, whether you're the woman or the man. You know what I'm saying? Like if my girl see me doing something that's not going to be good for me in the long run, or it can make me look bad in a bad light or something like that, she'll be like, babe, I don't think you should do that. You know what I'm saying? And me being a man and her being my woman that I love and I care and I adore and I trust with my life, you know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to relationships like that, when you're in a true relationship, you trust each other to that point. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to work towards being just like that. You know what I mean? I'm going to take what she says into consideration, because I know she's not trying to say anything wrong to me, but at the same time, in today's era, like it's kind of diluted on that whole submission when believing in a woman, because I ain't gonna lie, there's some bad women out there just like there's some bad dudes out there. So submission, you got to make sure that when you do submit, you submit to the right person. Like I tell any woman off tops, like if you can't submit to the man that you're with, why are you with him? I say the same thing to men. Why be with a woman that will not submit to you? You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, if you're doing your duty as a man and as a woman, submission comes both ways. Like if your man say something to you like, babe, you shouldn't wear that, or if your girl say, babe, I don't think you should do that, like that, I don't think that's a good idea, those things should go into high concern. You know what I'm saying? Like you should, well, I wouldn't say high concern, like it should be on the top of your list of things that you take into heavy consideration when it comes from your partner. You know what I mean? Like, same thing I say, if you're in a club and your girl bump a dude and get an attitude with the dude after she bumped him, a form of submission is your man saying, stop, and apologize because number one, you bumped into him and you trying to get an attitude with him. That is a form of submission if she does that. You know what I'm saying? Because number one, she understands she was in the wrong, for one, and she's been held accountable for her actions. And it can be on the same spectrum again on the other side of the spectrum. Like no man want to put his woman in danger, and no woman that really love her man or respects her man will put him in danger to where that violence break out, or possibly her nigga end up going to jail, or possibly her nigga end up going and getting killed. You know what I'm saying? Or her man kills somebody, or you know what I'm saying? Like it can lead to bad things whenever there's not an understanding in like submission for as both parties of knowing that we want the best for each other and we want to keep ourselves out of a bad light. A woman's number one duty is to keep her man from being in a bad space. Like when I say bad space, I'm talking about far as like the way that she carries herself, the way that she speaks. You know what I'm saying? Because everything that she do when she's with that man reflects on him. So regardless of how she talk, and it's supposed to be reflecting on her, the fact that she has a man, it reflects on him. If you have a woman that is loud, obnoxious, you know what I'm saying, nasty, you know what I'm saying, mean, aggressive, and all that stuff, it just shows how weak her man is. That's the reflection of it. But a woman that respects, you know what I'm saying, and truly loves her husband, she will never do anything to degrade his character by the way that she carried herself. That's the reason why some of the most, you know what I'm saying, amazing women are the ones that can speak highly of their woman. Just like there are good dudes out there that can speak highly of their wives too. You know what I'm saying? That's on both sides of that spectrum. So that's the reason why I tell both people that they got to understand that submission is something that both parties have to do. And I know sometimes it's hard, it's difficult, or you know what I'm saying, whatever have you. But it takes two individuals that want to be the best version of themselves to understand that submission is not about belittling the other. It's about containing the repercussions that could happen on both sides of it. You know what I'm saying? Like if my girl want to go eat somewhere, me submitting to her is saying, okay, we'll go eat there. Even though I probably don't want to eat anything at that place, or I probably don't even like eating there at all, but I can find something on the menu to eat just because I know that's what she wants. That's a form of submission right there. And a lot of women get confused by this because they think that they're the only ones that have to submit, but it's on both sides of that spectrum. Like we both have to give in. It's kind of like a give and take, or I think the best word that I can say for it is that we both have to compromise, you know what I'm saying, on some things. Like and men do it too, you know what I'm saying? Like whether you're a woman or whether you're a man, you both have to compromise in that sense. And compromise is a similarity to submission. It just anger women whenever they hear the word submission because they think oppression and all that stuff. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, men and women both were oppressed. So let's just not act like women were the only ones. I'm sorry, that's gonna probably trigger a few women with that, but it's just the truth. Like we all have our traumas that we all went through. We all have our hurdles that we have to go through through life. But at the end of the day, like when it comes to being in a relationship and being able to grow within that relationship, you both have to be able to submit to one another. A woman needs to bathe in her femininity. A man needs to bathe in his masculinity, because polar opposites are what attracts each other. And without that, you know what I'm saying, if people are just alike, eventually that will crumble, and that's what's happening to a lot of relationships. That's the reason why I tell a lot of people all the time that you need to be the polar opposite of the person. Like where you're weak at, you know what I'm saying, wherever you are weak at, your partner should be strong at. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to complement one another. Kind of like two parts of a moon. Two sides of the same moon can't connect, but two different sides of it can connect. You know what I'm saying? That's the reason why if you pay attention, like they talk about the yin and yang symbol, and that's what we're supposed to be to one another as individuals when it comes to it. We're supposed to balance each other. Never ever try to be the same or compete against each other, because that is what degrades, you know what I'm saying, relationship. And that's the reason why so many, why the divorce rates are so high, why relationships are falling apart, why households are breaking down as far as the children not being able to have, you know what I'm saying, mother and father, you know what I'm saying, helping raise the children into the best versions of themselves. Like, it's going to take time on that, but submission is definitely something like that, because how your kids see mama treats daddy or how daddy treats mama is going to be how your children are going to think that they should be treated in reverse. You know what I'm saying? And I know no mother or no father want their children to be in that kind of dynamic. That's the reason why whenever it's grown adult conversations, they're always done in private. So most definitely you need to make sure when you do have some things y'all need to talk about, y'all don't talk around the kids with it. You know what I'm saying? For y'all can have y'all one-on-one time, and it should, you know what I'm saying, shouldn't get too out of control far as the way that y'all handle it, because at the end of the day, like, a woman is looking for a leader. And don't get me wrong, I know it's some women out there, it's a minority of women that want to be leaders too, or they have to be leaders, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of women don't want to do their job because they know what it feel like to have to be the man and have to take care of all the bills, have to deal with all the problems that it means. Like, it's a lot of mothers that sacrifice everything being an independent single woman, and then when they get older and their kids are out the house, it's hard for them to be able to balance finding a man to be with them, because they have took on this masculine role for so long that it's hard for them to finally take down the cape. And I understand that a lot of women don't want some guys to come in and play with them. That's the reason why in the first 6 months to a year, you should be vetting the guy that you're talking to or vetting the girl that you're talking to. So definitely you got to understand, like, it is not easy, you know what I'm saying, to do this. This is the reason why fathers and mothers that want to see you succeed in relationships are very important. You feel me? So